Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. So for today's video, I wanted to do my 2024 goals and kind of like a look through my 2023, if I accomplished those goals, how much I read. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go through my year in books in Goodreads. I did it two different ways. The first way is just going to Goodreads and then kind of like going through my year in books. And the second way is that I saw a TikTok about a guy that created a program that basically does like your Spotify Wrapped, but for your books basically. So I did that too and I have it over here. So first let's go through my Goodreads information. So Goodreads is telling me that I read 20,951 pages in total. That will be 58 books. My goal was 50 books, especially because I didn't really start reading again ferociously till like midway through 2023. And I think that's pretty good. Like my best reading year so far, I read 95 books. That was like 2019. And my worst reading year was 2020 where I only read 20 books. So I have a big range. I at least read 20 books a year, but like the most I've read is 90. So I feel like 58 is pretty okay. Not my best, not my worst. So the shortest book that I read was Martha Wells' All Systems Red. That was 144 pages. It was really good. I like it here. And then my longest book that I really didn't think that this book was that long was Iron Flame. That book was 642 pages. Honestly, it didn't read that long. My average book length is 361 pages. And I do personally dislike a very long book. Unless it's a fantasy. I can deal with a fantasy being long. But a romance being long, like even like sci-fi's being that long kind of bothers me, even though I read long sci-fi's all the time. And mysteries and thrillers, if you're over 400 pages, I'm simply not gonna read you. I'm very, very sorry. So yeah, that kind of checks out. My most shelved, so the most popular book that I read was Beach Read. And I thought that book was a little bit above average. I did really enjoy it, but I didn't love it as much as other people. I think I ended up giving like between 3 and a 4 star. And my least shelf book, so my least popular book that I read was Perfect by L.A. Kessler. That book is terrible. It made it to my worst books of the year, so I think there's a reason why not a lot of people are reading it. My average rating was 3.7. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty much on target for what I want, which is a little bit above average. An average book would be for me like a 3, so a 3.7 is actually like I'm trending more positive than negative. Highest rated on Goodreads, it was Fourth Wing. I've been watching a lot of people's worst of the year videos, and they're kind of turning me towards not liking Fourth Wing as much as I did initially. And I think that's fine. I think a lot of like the subtle things that people are, not subtle, but like you have to like read more through it, just not just read for pure entertainment, but like really look more into the messaging of Fourth Wing and like the world building and the plot and like characters' actions, not just like reading a book like you're watching a movie, kind of like brains off, just having fun. And that's kind of like made me second guess some of the things that I enjoyed in Fourth Wing. And my first review of the year was for In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. I gave it 3 stars, but honestly that book was like so entertaining. I just couldn't stand the main characters. They were all so annoying. So I think that really hampered my enjoyment, but the book itself and the twists are like really, really good. If you're into a dark academia sort of setting, I would totally recommend to pick this book up. So then it just gives like a quick little graph of how like my year looks. Some of the highlights of my year is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jenna McCarthy, The Only One Left by Riley Sager, Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Maas. That is actually my most read author this year. I read Jasmine Maas, her whole Psycho Universe series. I really did enjoy it. I read it over a week. I have a full review of that in my channel, and I did really enjoy it. And then The Ferryman, which is a book that I recently read and I absolutely loved. It was my best of the year for the Goodreads sci-fi category. So yeah, that all seems pretty accurate. My last review of the year was for The Ferryman. Again, like the last book that I read in the year ended up being one of my favorites, which is also something I really love. And yeah, so I did complete my reading challenge, and then I'll show you my like wrapped sort of situation. So my year in books, you can go to myyearinbooks.com, and then you add all your like, you copy the information from my books tab in Goodreads. Copy, like if you're gonna go share it, and then do copy link, and then insert that link into the myyearinbooks.com website, and that should do it. It was super easy. Something that I try to do was copy my information specifically just for my 2023 books, for my 2023 books tag, and that did not work. You need to copy it from my books, like the entire library. Somehow it's gonna figure out which ones you read in 2023 and which ones you didn't. If you have like I think if you didn't add read dates to your Goodreads profile, it might not worked, but it worked fine for me. It was really fun. So this is what it's looking like, and I'm gonna put it on the screen as well. So books read, again, 58. So it says that minutes read were 35,607 minutes read. I don't know how many days that is. I'm pretty sure it's like less than like 50 days. Let's look at it. So yeah, so I read for 24 days straight, pretty much. So that's pretty interesting. So my top genres were mystery with 23 books, fantasy with 22 books, and thrillers with 20 books. So again, like I feel like I am very like balanced in my reading with the genres. My top author was Jasmine Moss, and your reading vibes is adventurous, and I do really agree with that. I'm not much of a romantic or much of a like suspense reader. I'm much more of an adventure reader. So now the next thing that I wanted to do is walk you through my reading journal and my reading tracker. So this year I want to do a little bit more with my stats, especially my monthly stats. So I'm going to be doing like two different things. One is a reading journal and the other one's a reading tracker. So let's take a look at the reading journal first. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about this. So I am going to flip through my reading journal. So this is the journal I ended up getting. I'm not super happy with the look of it, but when I went to get my reading journal, like none of them were bullet journals, and I really need a bullet journal rather than like a normal journal. That's just my preference, and I couldn't find any that were bullet journals, so I had to settle for this one, but I'll personalize it. I think I can make it look really cute. The color's kind of like a greenish and kind of like more like orangey, highlighted yellow, like highlighted orange kind of color. So first of all, we have the title page. So this one is the title page, very simple. This journal belongs to Amanda Moeller. So yeah, so that is the title page. I am gonna decorate it a lot more. As I was saying, these are like the bare bones for my journal. I wanna do a lot more like drawing and coloring and stickers, but this is the bare bones that I drew for myself so I can follow it through the year and kind of like decorate it when I want rather than decorate it all at once, because I feel like I will like do a good job for like the first page and then slack off. So these are my goals for 2024, and I'm gonna kind of go through them with you. So my first, I divided them between personal, financial, reading, good habits, and social. So for my personal goals, I want to swim 3 times a week. I kind of already started like kind of putting some work into that goal. I joined LA Fitness with a pool. I bought some swimsuits because the ones I used to have don't really fit me. And I kind of like got everything set up so I can start that next week when the year starts. And then I want to do yoga once a week. I did yoga pretty much 3 times a week for the majority of last year. I stopped work around September because I had a big motivation of like wanting to be really in good shape for my brother's wedding, and after that I kind of like lost all interest in it. So I kind of want to get back into it, especially because I have very bad scoliosis, so my back really hurts all the time, and if I don't do yoga, it really does affect my normal day-to-day life. So that's why I swim and do yoga, because they're both like low impact sports that don't really affect me that much. And then cook 1 meal and 1 dessert every week. So I have a very privileged life as to where my boyfriend cooks most of my meals for me. But I do love cooking, and it's something that I stopped doing because I had somebody else to do it for me. And this year I kind of want to get back into it and really like cook at least one meal and one dessert a week, because like cooking is kind of like also my love language, so I do enjoy doing it. Then for financial, I want to pay off my credit cards. I don't have that much credit card debt, but I want to make sure that I pay them off and just keep paying them off every month. Then save $150 a week. That is going to be really hard for me. I have the financial capability to do it, but I'm such a little treats type of person. So I have to really like be mindful and save at least $150 a week. And pay additional $200 towards my car loan a month. I kind of already set that to whereas I put like my car payment in auto pay, added an extra $200 and kind of like set it and forget it. So if you're the type of person that wants to pay off their car faster, I would totally recommend doing that because it was really easy. Then for my reading, I want to read 75 books in 2024. So that is my official reading goal. And again, like that is 25 books more than last year. Well, not really, 15 books more than last year. But I've read a lot more than 75 books previously. So I think that is very achievable. Keep up with this reading journal. Let's see how that goes. And keep a posting schedule. So I am very good at posting on my YouTube channel one video a week. But for my other socials, I am really terrible. And I understand that now, like short form content like TikTok and Instagram is really the way to build a community. So I want to like push me to post more Insta posts and short video formats. And then for my good habits, I want to go to the dentist and the gynecologist. I do not like doctors, and I never really got over the fact that my mom doesn't do my doctor's appointments anymore. So I kind of like, sorry the charger's in the way, but this camera is out of battery. But yeah, so I never really got a good dentist and gynecologist in my current city. So I kind of have to go out of my way to form a relationship with a doctor that I trust. And that is really scary, so I'm going to put it as my goal. Develop a skincare and body care routine. I basically have no skincare routine. If I wash my face every night, it's a miracle. So I really want to do that, especially I'm in my late 20s now. So I feel like it's about time for me to start doing that. And then use eyelash serum. I know you guys don't know this about me because I film from pretty far away, but I don't have bottom eyelashes and I have very sparse upper eyelashes. I basically have no eyelashes. So I want to get some for the new year. So I'm going to start using an eyelash serum. And then for socials, I want to go to a concert. I've been to one concert in my entire life. I went to a Steve Aoki EDM concert when I was about 16 or 17. And that was the last time I went to a concert. They're really overwhelming, but I have started to enjoy music a lot more last year. So I really want to pick a concert, make sure I'm comfortable with like the venue and the sitting situation, and just go to one to see if I really don't like it or if I'm just like making myself think I don't like it. And then go to an in-person book club. I'm already part of an in-person book club. It's actually joining a meeting today. But yeah, so just keep going to that one. And then this one's really sad, but I really do not do this. Hang out with one person other than Joey/family. Joey's my boyfriend. A month. So I am really bad about hanging out with people that I don't know. And I kind of like stick with like Joey and then my family and his family. So I want to branch out and hang out with somebody different at least once a month, which is not super terrible. I feel like most people do that very naturally. It just doesn't come naturally to me. And then the next page is a reading tracker. So I think this is pretty interesting. So no, it's the goals tracker. Sorry, I wrote reading tracker. I'll have to like change that somehow. But it's the goals tracker. So how I do it is that I put all these little lines. So each one of those lines indicates like 1 week of the year, except some of them are like at ×2. So the reason I do that is to give myself a little leeway so I can like not do my goal for that week. So if I like have my personal goals and for example like it's the first week and I went to swimming only twice a week and didn't go to yoga at all and only cook like a dessert but not a meal, I can use one of my ×2 to kind of like do that like join that week with the next week, and if I complete all those goals within 2 weeks, I'm still good, and I didn't like lose anything, and I still am on track. So I have 10 times 2, so it's kind of like a cheat sheet, but not really because I'm still doing it. And they can be spread out anywhere you want. I kind of like put some randomly in this area, but really they can be used whenever I feel like it. And they can be used for each individual goal. So if I need to use a times 2 for reading, but not for personal, I can just use my times 2 for personal, for the reading one. And yeah, that's pretty much how it works, and it works really well for me to still keep on top of myself, but give myself a little leeway for like bad weeks. And then my next little page, it's my reading challenge. As I said, my reading challenge for 2024 is 75 books. So, and then I have some little challenges, and the little challenges is 10 new books, new to me authors, 20 sci-fi books, finish 5 series, and 5 non-fictions. And then these are all my 75 little books, and I'll fill out one for each one I complete. Then we have, sorry about the stupid cable. Then we have my 2024 TBR. I'm gonna fill this one out with some of the books I wanna read in 2024. And the next page is my wish list, kind of like books that I wanna read and books that I wanna buy. Then I'm keeping track of my DNFs this year, so this is my DNF tracker page. And again, this is pretty blank, because I want it to be like a blank slate that I can like draw on and doodle. So when I leave it pretty blank as of right now, but as the year goes by, I'll do little updates and put them in my Instagram to see how each page is looking. Then this one is my book bracket. I really like this page, and basically it's January through February, March, April, like all the months pretty much. And each month I will like pick my favorite book and then put them against each other, and then we'll come out with like a favorite book of the year from the book bracket. The one that I actually end up being my favorite book might be different from the one in the book bracket, but I think this is pretty fun just to have something to keep track of my favorite books each month. So then after that we start with the calendar. So I really like doing calendar pages in order to kind of like write down my like video, like if I want to post a video on Saturday, Instagram post on Thursday, and TikTok on Tuesday, I can like write down when I'm gonna post each thing, so I keep up to a schedule, and then also put in like little things that I want to do. And I left a big space down here because I wanted to do notes. So that is for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And the reason I put like basically all the months already is because usually I plan really far ahead, so I want to have the opportunity to like write things down for like November and December in the beginning of the year, instead of drawing my individual calendar when the first of the month kind of happens. I want to have all of them already so I can fill them out. And then that is the last page, and then the next pages are my reviews. So this one is kind of how I'm going to structure it. That I think it's going to be really fun to have like kind of like the font of the book. So I wrote the serpent and the wing in like my best imitation of the font. And then in each one I'm going to have the author, the genre, the format, the rating, and whether I own it or not, and then thoughts. And then I left the space here because I want to print the book cover of each book. And I already also did a little bit of work on this. I got myself one of those little HP printers, and they're like the little like printers that are like yay big and print stickers. So I'm going to put a little TikTok video of it like right now, and the link down below so you can buy it if you want it for your reading journal as well. So yeah, so my plans is kind of like have like each individual review, and then at the end of the month kind of have like a wrap up of that month, and then also video ideas in between. Okay, so hello. So now we're going through my online reading tracker. So if you want to know, I got this one by just Googling like the best reading trackers, and the one that I ended up going for is from somebody called Ko-Fi, and you can find her by going to ko-fi.com and then /yourworldsmyink. So that is kind of where the reading tracker is kept. I think I purchased it for like under $5. So that's kind of how I ended up choosing this one. I also ended up choosing this one because a lot of the ones that I was looking at were apps, or you needed like an iOS device to use them, and were incompatible with other things. And I kind of wanted like this reading tracker to be accessible through all my devices. And I have a Mac and an iPhone, but my work computer is not a Mac, so I wanted to be able to use it there too in case I finish a book while at work, and just have more accessibility in general. So I really like this one because it works with Google Sheets, and I am a big Google Sheets user already, so I thought it was perfect. So yeah, so I am screen recording it so you can take a quick look of what it looks like. Right now it has no information in it whatsoever. It has like one book, so everything is kind of like looking very like meh. But basically it has the books read, the pages read, the audio hours, the rereads, the DNFs. It has a monthly tracker, a reading goal tracker, a star rating tracker, a book information, so it will tell you at the end of how many short stories, how many novels, how many novellas, whether it was a tome or not. Then it also gives you some really fun graphs about the author, so the gender of the author, and how many women, how many men, like what was the split, non-binary too. So then it has source information, and it has the series status, so complete, incomplete, cut off, DNF, companions. It has a series status of how many you have completed versus incompleted. Then it has a genre breakdown, so, and a format breakdown as well. So it'll tell you if you read mostly like ebooks, audiobooks, whatever, and the age range as well. Then they will have a primary genre and then secondary genre, and then publication year, so you are able to tell by the end of the year how many books you read that were published in like 2022, 2023, 2024. I think this is super cool. And then it has smaller tabs so you can keep track of your reading. So I already put my first book of the year, which is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and it'll ask you for information about the author, the start date, the date finished, the dates read, the rating, the month you read it, author information, so that'll be gender, author status, author identity, publication date, publication year, publisher, format, age range, primary genre, secondary genre, source. Source means whether you buy it or you got it from the library or anything like that. That's what source means. I was a little confused about what that means. And year hold, pages, hours listens, book length, series or standalone. So that is information that you can populate yourself. You can put in as little information as you want, as much information as you want. Again, like I obviously have like a booktube channel, so I want to have as much information as possible. But if you're just like keeping track of your reads for like funs and giggles and you want something a little bit better than Goodreads, I would recommend this. And then you have some series trackers, so you put like books that you've read in a series, and then you go through this all. And this is something that I'll have to work on filling out, because of course I've read more than one series. I have like a ton of series I've read and a ton of series that I either finish or have like only one book left. So I want to work on that. That was one of my goals. So I am gonna populate this list, and then books owned. I think it's really cool because it kind of like keeps track of your library for you, and obviously I'm gonna do this too. The next video after this one, so a little sneak peek, it will be a bookshelf reorganizational video because my bookshelves are a mess. So I kind of need to do that, and I'll put most of my books in here as well while I do that. Then it has an author tracker. It's very similar to the series tracker, but it's more like for you to know how many books by a certain author you've read, and I think this will be really interesting. I'm debating whether or not I want to do this only about this year or whether I want to populate information about like every book I've ever read. So I'm debating it. I think I'm going to do it for like the series and the authors, but my books read I'm going to leave just for this year. Then readathon trackers are here. I think I'm gonna start populating this one because I'm doing this Winterween readathon right now. So I'm gonna do that one. And then ARC's review copy tracker. So right now I've never gotten an ARC or a review copy by anybody ever. So I don't know how useful this will be for me. Maybe one day I'll actually like go and get some for myself, but right now that's not a big priority for me. And again, book requests. So this is if you request a book from the library or from an author, you can keep track of whether or not you read it or if you received it or not. And then the rest ones are kind of tabs I hid. So this one is a welcome tab. Has some information about like how to use this. And then upcoming books / wish list. I think I'm gonna move this one over. So this one's just so you can keep track of what books you want to read and what books you're excited about. And then this one is categories. So I'm pretty sure that categories tab is just so you know, like it's feeding information to the Google Sheets, so you don't really want to mess with that one. So yeah, so that is the tracker that I'm going to be using. Again, I'm going to put all the information for it down below if you want to use it as well. And I'm going to give you an update at the end of the year of whether or not I used it. And I'm going to be using that to give you quarterly updates and monthly updates. I think it's going to be like really fun and very informative for my YouTube channel. And yeah, that is the last thing I wanted to talk to you about for my 2024 goals and planning. I am really excited. I'm going to be try to be super duper like consistent with my journal, especially my journal. So look forward to a lot of pictures of it and a lot of Instagram posts about it. So follow me down below on Instagram. I think like that will be the best way for you to see it, because I'm not gonna be posting it here week by week. I'm gonna probably like just show it to you at the end of the year. So if you want like weekly updates of how that's going, follow me on Instagram and please subscribe to this channel. I know I didn't put like a goal of how many subscribers I want to have because I've been stuck at like 200 for like 3 years. So I have no intentions of ever growing this channel. This is basically for me. So but if you are watching and you are not subscribed, please do it, because it does give me a little bit of motivation, I'm not gonna lie. So, and yeah, that will be the last of this, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.